And now get ready to feel some late night morning wood. Yeah.
Yeah, there you are.
You're experienced at it.
All right, let's see. Now I can turn off the phone. I'm going to turn off my phone completely so that nobody can interrupt us.
Here he is.
Okay. Yeah, you're really in the dark.
I'm a professional. I know. I'm terrible at everything I do.
Get out of here.
It's very moody. It's you look like heavy metal.
I should have stayed in my
scary, you know.
Where I have my actual desk is in my bedroom, and I'm always in shadow, and people always telling me, you can't see, you put some light. I said, it's the lightest room in the house. Now I'm sitting in the darkest room in the house, actually.
It looks like,
and it's so bright. But,
well, that's okay. People are supposed to focus on you anyways, so this just puts me in the darkness. I go in the small TV, you notice, you know.
Yeah, it's great in the show.
Yeah, I saw it. I know, that was awesome. That was
I got
cool.
the Spanish Beavis and Butt-Head V. I should probably point up right up here. See it? Yeah.
Oh.
Oh yeah, right.
But yeah, you know, so
I can call him back.
Yeah, I'll come back. I mean, if she, can I wait around then, or?
Dude, you can just stand in the back and like air guitar and stuff the whole time.
I can just
he worked in the backyard he's got here. He used to sleep there, but now he got rid of his bed for certain reasons, and now he sleeps in here.
Yeah,
he goes there to work. He comes back in to sleep, and he leaves for the day. He goes to work and back.
It is important.
Just because he won't be here, you might not be here unless you stay with Snickers.
Right. Well,
unless we talk about it soon.
I love the Rockin' Pins cornholio pin on you right there.
Yeah.
Represent.
Maybe you could just text me.
You?
You don't even need to make a big deal about texting me. Just like you don't have to stop the interview. What you could do is text me one letter.
Okay.
Just text
if you look at it,
No, I will. Text me one letter and I'll come in.
Okay. Okay, we'll do that.
I'm leaving this all in, by the way.
We can't trust what you're going to put in.
You're going to put a clock in the background so you can see the edits. But anyway, so Yvette, you're awesome. You what was your title on Beavis and Butt? I know that it kind of changed over time, but your overall title.
My overall title was supervising director on the series.
All right, and now you came into the. You kind of came in during the Crude era, but you were kind of brought in to kind of alter things because of the controversy, I believe, almost. Is that
controversy?
Or just because Mike was unhappy with it at the time, or
well, because it was the very beginning, and it was being made up from not only a show that looked like nothing anyone ever saw before, but there was a low budget, I guess, than they thought they needed. I don't know, since I wasn't at the very beginning, why they made the decision to do it digitally, because the rest of the series after that first season, that I know fans don't consider that right. It was actually season 1 and season 2. You guys think that, right? The fans call it
season 1 and season 2. Season 1 we almost consider just the 3 episodes before the little break, and then you guys.
Right. Well, it's all the episodes that were done at JJ's, and it was more. But when we started with MTV Animation, we called that season 2, but you call it season 3. But right. I don't remember the exact the turning point. If I saw the names, I would know. Maybe I think the last one that I was involved in that was through JJ was Sideshow. I think that might have been the last.
Well, that's honestly one of the early ones. Of course, I believe they probably.
No, it is. It's early, but it was the last one done. It's all from JJ. Yeah, right. That's so. If you tell me what's considered season 2 now, if you want. Well, anyway, I was brought in. It was Tony Eastman who brought me in.
Okay. And storyboard artist. Tony
Eastman was the storyboard artist, and also at the time he was, and maybe through forever. Tony Eastman was like the New York animation person. Everyone went to Tony because he was brilliant and he was a wonderful animator, wonderful board artist. He was a director, producer. I used to work with. Most of my career, I worked with the early parts. I was an animator, and I worked with Tony as an animator. And at the time that I first heard about Beavis and Butt-Head from Tony, I was working at Doug on the Nickelodeon series Doug, and
I love Doug.
I was an animator on the pilot that Tony directed, and then when it became a series, Nickelodeon asked me if I would direct because they liked some business I did with the acting, and I was like, direct? I didn't know what the heck that meant. How do you direct animation? I didn't know. It's like I ask the questions that people who don't work in animation ask. I just knew that when I animate, I draw a lot of pictures, and I'm instinctive. How do I write notes to somebody else? How do I tell someone else what to do? But anyway, that's besides the point. I was directing on Doug, and Tony was the supervising director of Doug for the first season, and then he wanted to go back to freelancing and doing all the things he always, he had the potential. People wanted him to do, so he just boarded on Doug. So he used to come in and out. And one day he came in, and we were dear friends. He was one of my dearest friends. The way I say was is because unfortunately Tony passed away this year. That I know you gave him a beautiful tribute on the site. So
Tony's awesome.
We're all grateful for that. So Tony calls me over. Hey, Yvette, come here. I want to show you something. He didn't talk like that at all. But I remember what I went over to him with. For some reason, I picture us standing in the middle of the whole space, and he shows me these storyboards, and it's these horrible looking creatures, close-ups on his nose and mouth, and with snot coming down their nose and into the mouth, and one of them's eating or something, and I'm like, that's disgusting. And he's laughing, and he says, yeah, I know, it's really different. It was sick. Yeah. It was the episode Sick. And that was my introduction to Beavis and Butt-Head. Wow. But I thought they were like 35 years old or something. I didn't know. I couldn't figure it out. And he said, yeah, it's like MTV. It's like a possible show. It's a possible series. I was like, and here we're working on the sweetest, show. And then he's doing this. And he said they might want to call you, to do something. I said, I don't know. And then I don't remember how much longer it was, but maybe it was really soon. We were going on hiatus for Doug. And hiatus, every show, when it's in between seasons, they put the crew on hiatus. If you're lucky, they put you on hiatus. If there's a longer wait between seasons, they lay you off. But we were on hiatus, which meant in a month or 2 or 3, maybe we knew we were going back. And so when I was on hiatus, I got a call from JJ asking me if I would, or maybe it was Tony, I don't really remember now, but because the first season was done at JJ Settlemeyer's, as you know, and JJ, and probably JJ called to ask if I would, that they need a director, they need somebody to pull everything together, or the way it's being animated, or just that Mike wanted. I know now that Mike wanted one person he could talk to about what the animation was like, what they're supposed to do and act like, but it was already in production. So I was like, oh, here's that thing, that Tony showed me. And I told JJ, okay, I went, because I love JJ too, we're good friends too. And I went in to the studio, and he sat me down. He said, okay, first thing, I'm going to show you the prototype. I'm going to show you this. And I expected, oh God, I'm going to I don't know, this is going to be really weird. And he puts it on, and it's frog baseball. And completely. I couldn't. At first, I'm like, and then I'm like, and I was just like laughing, and I was just like in love immediately. And to me, I thought, it's so innocent.
It's one of the least innocent episodes, too. It's great.
I know it's horrible that they were batting a frog around, but the way it looked with the pastel crayon backgrounds, so gentle looking, so, so young and sweet, and it just I knew they weren't. It was cool. It was so much a drawing of a frog, and it wasn't. It's not like it was a CG show that then it would have been. I would have hated it with a passion, but I couldn't believe it. The voice, everything about it was just so fresh, so different. How often do you really see something that you've never seen before?
Right.
It's an amazing feeling when it's good.
Yeah.
Maybe, and I was just like, oh my God, it was the opposite of what I expected to feel. And then JJ came over and I told him how much. He goes, well, now you're going to meet Mike. And he had already described Mike as being the most perceptive person that a vision and eyes and pay attention to things that nobody else did and the things that he notices are, unlike anyone. So I already knew that. And then I met him and he was very quiet. It was the first time meeting, but he was great. He was really quiet and I could tell a little nervous. But we hit it off as much as, you could in that one little bit, not what I would say it's awkward, but it was, it was first step. And I told him how much I told him how much I loved frog baseball. Yeah. And then I started working on the show, freelance. I wasn't working in the studio, but what I mainly did was stop them from separating levels, because I guess when they were first told about digital animation, they were told to separate the levels, which means you had legs on one, there's drawings floating around where there's just legs, then it's just heads, then it's just arms going. It's like, why would you do that? And put together 4 levels to do the same 7 drawings. Yeah. Why would you do that, And so I said, no, we're just going to do those 7 drawings. Actually, it's 10 to 12, but 5 to 7 per step. Then why would you do that? Just do the drawings that are necessary. You'll cut down by a quarter, by 3/4 right off the bat, and then I knew that we had a limit to how many drawings. So when I'd be directing the episodes was basically taking the exposure sheets. Where I should have brought in exposure sheets. Do you know exposure sheets? What they look like?
Off the top of my head, I probably do if you brought them out, but
can I run out for a second?
Go right ahead. Yeah.
I'm not going to bring and I do have a Cornholio exposure sheet that I put on my website, and I thought for sure I could find it, but I don't know where it is. I looked for it in the house, and I don't know where it is. So it'll just be another exposure sheet I'll bring in so you can see.
Okay, no problem.
Sorry, I'm coming.
Don't be. This is awesome.
Okay. The one good thing about this is it's a rough draft storyboard and rough draft animated Beavis and Butt-Head. So this is something else, but it's where the soundtrack is written down in this column with. Now, you know the Beavis and Butt-Head mouth charts, the A, B, C, D. So these are the designations for what mouth they're going to have. And then there's description here of what happens, what the action is. So these are my sheets for another show.
That's intricate. It's amazing. That's amazing.
Well, that's how we, since the boards were already done for me. Now, normally a director oversees the board too, but I was coming in after the fact. So Tony did the boards on his own. Maybe he spoke with Mike first, but he did the boards on his own. Then this animation crew would would decide what to do, and they were all doing different things because there wasn't any one person. So that's kind of what a supervising director, that's what I did as supervisor, to make sure everything was uniform, so they always acted like Beavis and Butt-Head.
That more or less explains why kind of a part of the first season, the crude era, the arms are kind of all over the place, and then at one point it just kind of stays to those charts and is more, well, that's awesome. That answers a lot right there in itself. But continue.
Well, so that was only. I fell in love with it like immediately. I remember and Randall would probably. No, he's not here now. But my son, who was young at the time, now. I had promised, I swore before I saw Frog Baseball, when I knew I was going to work on this, that I'm never going to show him. He was like, I guess 9 or something at the time. And it was 93, it was the beginning of 93. It was actually probably the end of 92 that we started, because it aired in 93. But this was either like December 90, it's November, December 92, or maybe it was January 93. I'm not sure. I don't remember how long this hiatus was that I was on Beavis. But I remember saying, he's never going to see this. The second I walked in the door with the soundtrack, I said, you got to hear this. And I think it was like no laughing, that I just was like, you got to hear this. It's like, and it was just listening to it. They were radio plays. The tracks were fully put together at the time before you start, which is the way we continued with Beavis, because if you don't hear it, you can't, hearing it gives you everything.
Yeah. Most
animation shows are not done that way. The boards are done to no track. The tracks are put together after.
Interesting.
And or simultaneous.
I've thought before how Beavis and Butt-Head is a show that a majority of episodes a blind person could probably follow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You ever thought about that? It's really unique in that regard.
That's why a lot of animation people hated it to work on it, because they're all about the visuals. Right. But then the guy from Ren and Stimpy ends up praising it, who's a guy who usually, you would think, so, hey, but yeah, continue again. Yeah. I mean, that it's so perceptive, and it's exactly. It was a radio play, and one of my biggest, I have it written down, it's probably in the Bible, but I also used it later after Beavis End in lectures that I would give about creating characters or telling stories, and it would always be, don't interfere with it was like, don't interfere with the dialogue, don't interfere with the comedy, don't interfere, it's like with Beavis, the visuals couldn't interfere. I'm going to skip around because you used it, you made me do it. one of the things that everyone used to laugh about and make fun of, when I was supervising director, so it was like, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but nobody smiles in the show when they are around, like, unless it's like Stewart and he's happy, unless it's, but if like in the movie, especially when they are people are dead faced. Yeah. People are deadpan, and I was like, and sometimes I'd get the layouts. Miserable. I'd get the layouts or the board. No smiles. So that was my mantra. No smiles. Or on the bus, when we had they were on the bus they had people smiling. Only the old guy was like, yeah, I scored. The only scene I could picture was smiling is when they're maybe watching the
eruption there of the all the people are at that thing. But no, I know what you mean when people are just in the background or just people look either miserable or deadpan. I always
when it's in relation to them, when they're reacting to them.
Yes.
They're allowed to smile if they're taking tour. They were enjoying their tour. But once they're joking, if it was a reaction shot or when they're doing something, they weren't allowed to.
People
smile.
Are just unimpressed.
Because if they smiled, it's like if they laughed at them, it's like ruining everything. So, so then you're thinking about their reaction instead of thinking about
the only people that ever really did respond that way are almost painted as kind of insane.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it might have snuck in, if it was deliberate, it was deliberate. But I
mean, like Kyler, he laughed along, but
that's different. That's different because he was them. That was deliberate. But if they were commenting inappropriately on something where people knew that it was inappropriate, they wouldn't react.
Right. Right.
But so that was what. So it was like, don't interfere, and it's exactly why that they didn't do anything that wouldn't be something that you would imagine just by listening. In a way. Right. Which sounds ridiculous. It's like, why did we need to animate it then? Why wasn't it just a radio play? But their faces, I mean, it's not, those faces alone were all you needed, those faces.
It's also, they translated the book very well. Not the comics so much, but the books, like This Book Sucks and the encyclopedia and all that. You knew the voices so well at that point. Reading their dialogue, it translated brilliantly, but yeah.
I mean, later on, of course, there were episodes that they were more active, and that was so fun to discover how much they could, what they could do, and still be themselves, like as it evolved. But anyway, back to this hiatus. When Beavis and Butt-Head ended, Mike or John Andrews, who was our producer. They knew it was a hit. Obviously, I was at the premiere party at, I think it was the Royalton Hotel, where we had like 7 people and Kentucky Fried Chicken and Dunkin' Donuts, and that's what I remember anyway. My memory might be wrong, but
and that was
for me to go back to Doug because Doug was starting again, and Mike or John called me to ask me if they're starting to tell me that they were starting an animation studio, because at the time I guess we didn't know if it was staying with JJ or not, but the MTV wanted to start their own animation studio, and they asked me if I would be supervising director, that Mike wanted me to be supervising director. Now, remember I said I didn't even know what director meant when Doug made me a director, and I wanted him, my hair supervising director, it sounded like, sounded very too daunting for me. And I was like, but I have to go back to Doug, I said, I mean, they're waiting for me. So I'm sorry, but I recommended someone else who was actually a director, Doug, Carol Milliken, there actually were 2 supervising directors for a few seasons. And I was the first MTV season, which you call season 3, I was a freelance director. I agreed. I said, even if I'm working on Doug, I love this show. I want to direct some episodes. So I'll direct some episodes. And Carol was the supervising director. So I go back to Doug, and I almost immediately realize, what the hell am I doing? It was a big mistake. I knew immediately. I don't mean to say it like that. I loved working on Doug, but there was something about working with Mike, obviously, and John, and just being involved in that show and the way I was treated. It was definitely a progression of my career and abilities and how I saw myself, and at Doug it was kind of I made them an offer that would have allowed me to continue working there, and they weren't flexible. So I left, and I always say I left the good boy for the bad boys. which
I love it.
kind of the story of my life, but
I would argue Beavis and Butt-Head are better than Doug.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, Doug's always wallowing in his self-pity and stuff, you know.
What?
Doug was always wallowing in his self-pity. I'd almost say the boys were a better influence, you know. It's just he was so insecure. It's like, oh, people are gonna judge my shoes. It's like, oh, jeez. No, I do. I grew up with Doug. I love Doug. I think Doug has some of the most memorable character names in history. I mean, Roger Klotz, it's BB Bluff. It's just, there is something so catchy about every single character's name except Doug.
Doug's funny. It is.
Doug, yeah. But still,
he wasn't that funny. So.
But anyway, that is awesome. So then you come in, and this is around probably, so you said a lot of what the fans consider season 3, the first part of MTV animation. Ooh, this is something I wanted to tackle on. You noticed that I brought up, and sorry, I'd like to get back to your story, but just since we're in this.
No, that's done. That part's done.
Okay. Sporting goods and true crime. For years, I've noticed that they are animated so differently in that run. And you said that those 2 episodes were the only episodes that were animated in-house, not cell animated.
Right. Now, I can't, you made me think about these. And I know true crime. I know for a fact true crime. I remember that clearly. But I'm not sure if it was sporting goods. It might have been safe driving, I wonder. I don't know. That
was quite a bit after that run, though.
Was it? So
yeah.
Because sporting goods was so had so much going on that I don't know if they would have chosen that for us to do in house. But at any rate, I don't remember why. I really don't. Maybe because we had 2 animation studio. Maybe at the beginning we only had Rough Draft, and maybe they just couldn't handle. Do you know who would know this? John Andrews would know this. If you ever want to speak to our producer, John Andrews would have these answers.
Yeah.
I don't know why they decided that we should animate 2 episodes in house, but of course we could. We had a crew of animators.
So you do know that it was 2 episodes.
I know it was 2, but I can't remember what the second one for sure. But I know it was 2.
I'll link you to the sporting goods later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I see no reason. There might be one other reason why that would look different, because we started using another studio, +1, and for the rest of the run, we had 2 studios, Rough Draft and +1, and the movie was done by Rough Draft and +1, and maybe that was +1's first episode. I don't know.
Wow. Okay. It's a mystery, and I love it.
It shouldn't be a mystery, and I should remember. And if I looked at all the names of the episodes if I really
these 2 are really close in the run. That's what makes me think that if it's true crime, I almost think the other has to be sporting goods. They're very close to each other in the run.
It's possible.
But then this led to you guys doing the share video in house, right?
We did the share video in house. We also did all the little music, all the video clips.
Oh, like oh, okay, yeah. Like there's one that only shows up once where Beavis is reading a magazine. So you guys did that in house type thing.
Yes.
Oh, right on. Oh, that's cool. I never really knew that.
Kevin Lofton probably animated it, or Otis Brayboy. Otis Brayboy animated the dancing, the iconic famous dancing, and he's a director now and showrunner.
Really? We were talking last night, but the boys were actually on during the Super Bowl last night. That Paramount.
I saw you posted.
Yeah. That's awesome to think millions of people, got to hear an innuendo about a giant crack last night.
Right. Very funny. So we did the share video. That was a highlight for me, in fact. Well, you probably saw it because Chris has it too. I didn't know Chris had it, but do you see my platinum record? I don't know if you can see it.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So cool.
I loved working on that, and in fact, I was locked in a room for 3 weeks, my office for 3 weeks with John Dilworth, who animated Roger Klotz in the Doug pilot, and when he has
rickets.
Huh?
The first one's Roger has rickets. His legs are like. They got rid of it pretty quick, but I'm sorry. Continue.
He did the board, so he has one of those too. But it was wonderful, and having the whole crew animate was just amazing. It was really beautiful, and I guess that did come after the 2 episodes, right? You think it came after? I don't really remember.
Mm.
We also animated in-house all their outside activities, like going on Letterman or any of their.
Oh yeah, I always loved how they were like Roger Rabbited into things. That
was all animated in-house too.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And you guys did that quite a bit, really.
Yeah.
So, are there any stories about working on the animation? Like, did you meet Cher or anything like that? Or
no, I didn't, because I didn't direct. I only directed the animation part, and oh my God, I can't believe that I always knew the director's name who directed the live action. She's a accomplished director, but she's the one who shot the shared stuff, the live stuff, and then we were sent that, and we had to rotoscope to the rotoscope the live action. Rotoscope means we had to trace. We had to have each frame blown up and trace, so our animators could combine Beavis and Butt-Head in the right place. And it was tricky because this is a technical thing. This is this is the most a big upset for me at the time. The challenge, because it was video. We worked in film. We worked 24 frames a second, and here this was 30 frames a second, and we didn't know what we were doing. And the track reader read it at 24 frames a second. And that's what we were animating to. And then I realized, holy crap, it's not hooking up. And I don't know how I did this, because I am not technically minded. I am not mathematical. I don't know how on earth I did this, but I actually sat with all the exposure sheets, like I just showed you.
Yeah.
And the soundtrack on some, I don't know what I said, what I did this on, I don't know. Some editing bay, I don't know, because I don't know how to use that, so I don't know. But I made adjustments on the sheets everywhere. Add 2 frames here. Instead of redoing the sheets, because it was already animated, I went through and by 1 frame at a time made the adjustments so it would sync up with the live action.
Wow, that is insane.
And it did.
And that
it did, and I don't know how.
Much going on too. It's just wow. It's
the culmination was that scene. It's Tony Klug, one of our directors, who animated. It was a brilliant animator too. 3 of our directors were animators. Tony Klug, Ilya Skorupski, and Jeffrey Johnson. But I don't know if Jeffrey worked on the music video. I'm not sure. But Tony Klug did the scene where Beavis Butt-Head's holding Cher's hand, and and it's like, how did you do that? How did that work? How did that work that he never breaks contact?
Yeah. It's so
there were all these little miracles that we were
back then. I've never seen part 2 of it, but I think it was like early 1994. MTV aired an In the Animation Studio segment on Beavis and Butt-Head. And maybe part 2 just never aired, but it said it was going to. But I stayed up. I'd leave for bathroom breaks and turn it up in case, it came on. I never saw it. But there were characters, or not like mashups of Beavis and Butt-Head all over the studio. Like them as the Flintstones, them as Mickey Mouse. And then that really, a lot of that made it into the Cher video. I always noticed back then. Were you guys like told to come up with as many mashups as possible at one point?
No, never told. That was the crew completely. And those, not just the Cher, the only time they were in the Cher bit. At the beginning. Yeah, that was one of the joys of listening to the music and being locked in the room there with John Dilworth and riffing. I was like, it's psychedelic, so we could use all these things.
Because they were real quick.
And those are the things that became the trading cards. They all went into the trading cards, and now Maurice has made some of them into pins too.
Into the pins,
But so one of the we just based on the music that cutting from one to the other until because they were in the sound booth. I mean they were in these.
Yeah, it's like the make a music video things that used to be in the mall type virtual reality goggles.
Virtual reality.
And that was reused. That image of them with those on was reused for the one of the PC games, Virtual Stupidity. Even.
Wow, I didn't know because I didn't have anything to do with those. Cool. That's cool.
but that's awesome. I wish that music video was. It's not on anything.
It's too bad.
Yeah,
I have it on VHS, but
it wasn't like an official release. I take it though. Like something that
I mean, it should be. It's not online.
Yeah, it should be. It would have just, I don't know. Cher actually had a concert T-shirt back then that had Beavis and Butt-Head on it. That must have been some, like I'm imagine. I'm
surprised because the record did great. The Beavis and Butt-Head Experience, I thought, did great.
Well, that album rules. I mean,
yeah.
I didn't have cable right away, so Beavis and Butt-Head I would kind of see here and there, but then once I could have that album, I feel like that is what got me into the characters more and more. I could just repeat that over and over again, and then we eventually got cable, But that album is perfect. All the skits, going on the tour bus with Anthrax is.
We were supposed to do another. What I remember is we were supposed to do another video with to the Barry White to the.
Come to Butt-Head.
Come to Butt-Head.
Oh,
yeah. I wish we had done that.
God, yeah. What a shame. Who was that with? Did it come down to that the artist wasn't into it or something, or did it just fall through? Because the album was like a major success, wasn't it?
Yeah. Again, you'd have to ask John Andrews or Abby Triculi. I don't know. Maybe we just didn't have the time, or I don't really know.
Oh, that would have been.
I mean, because it was hard because we were still doing the episodes, but then
you guys were nonstop the whole time. And that, like I said to you yesterday, the show is almost like unique in the sense of you can watch it progress from episode to episode with the animation and Mike getting the voices down and just the characters developing. And as we've said, Beavis more or less was like a one note joke at the very beginning. He just said yeah, and maybe he'd say fire, and then the Most Wanted episode, which you were a part of that whole experience, correct?
Yep, I directed that episode.
Right. And do you have any story really to go into that, Beavis's freak out and whatnot?
I totally do. But there is one thing I'd like to say again about after I tell this story. I might go back to the.
No, we can. Yeah.
Remember, I did hint to you at one time that there's a story that really shows the difference in my thinking about Beavis and Butt-Head to Mike thinking about Beavis and Butt-Head, because really all I ever wanted to do, all I ever tried to do was be Mike, to funnel, absorb his thinking and absorb how he saw things, so I could do it, so I could do that, because that was my job, to protect them, to make sure he was happy, and I loved everything he wanted. There was only one time that we disagreed, and it's the end of the share video. So I'll come back to that. But you bring up a very important, very meaningful moment in Beavis's evolution. Was in Most Wanted, when he has that written rant that he goes into. It was the first time I flipped out, because it was the first time he ever had like an internal life. I think, there might have been other little moments, but that was it, and do you want me to show?
Oh, no, go. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I didn't know it was right there or anything. I'm just glowed because I love it.
Yeah. So, in fact, wait, I think I have the script. I think I have the script here with the script notes.
Oh, really?
I'm not sure. No, I'm sorry, I don't.
Oh, come on.
I probably have the script, but without script notes. I don't know if fans would like to see just the script.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're impressed by anything.
Because I was hoping to find the script with the script notes. Liar, breakdown, woodshop, crisis line.
Do you have every single script?
Yeah, not here with me, but I do have every single script.
Crap, dude.
No, I don't have it with me here. Maybe we'll do a part 2.
All right.
So this is like, I just flipped out. And now at first, I have to admit, my first reaction reading that script, I was a little worried, because it was shortly after the fire. It was shortly after we had to change. We had to pull out, references to fire, and,
right. And
the show
insect
was
abuse too, right?
Huh?
And insect abuse too, wasn't it?
Insect abuse, yeah. But if that stuff was a problem, what's it like? What are we going to get from Beavis and Butt-Head bonding with a serial killer? Holy crap! So I actually was like, Mike, maybe we shouldn't. Maybe this is too much, at first. And then all of a sudden, I'm directing it and loving it. And the thing that made me love it was Beavis's evolution. Beavis now had an inner life, and it was like, oh my God, this is like, this stuff has been in him all along, and here it's bubbling over, and that's why the little bubbles, and to have him look completely, so we know it wasn't something he was really planning to do. It wasn't something that he would act on.
He hears them too.
What?
He hears the voices too. He hears
the voices too. Exactly.
He's never heard anyone else say it.
And that's where we came up. That was the first fist shake, and I don't remember if we had it, if we got it yet. But that was like a thorn in my side for so long, because we used to do like until it was Tony Klug, who, because he was such a great animator. Even though I was an animator, I never really staggered things until then. Then now on sheets, when I exposed to exposure sheets, I stagger all the time, and that it's just exposing the drawings out of order. So if you have 4 drawings up and down, you'd go 1, 3, 2, 4. 1, 4, so it would have a jitter.
Wow.
And I don't know if we did that in Most Wanted, because we didn't know yet. And since that was the first one, we probably didn't. We probably didn't do that until like Via Con Cornholio or something. And but that was the turning point. That's where, to me, it all began, because like you said, Beavis was, as David Letterman upset me hugely when he said, Beavis is just like gum on Butthead's shoe.
Yep.
You could have heard me screaming from my house all the way, to the studio. I was so upset, and I was like, no, he's not. Not even then I didn't think he was. Not even then. I knew he wasn't. And that was the proof. That moment in Most Wanted was the proof.
It's funny that because if you were to describe it to someone, it sounds so cynical, but it isn't. There's something so pure about Beavis, and from there, he just became more and more. I don't know. He's just so charming, isn't he?
Yeah. That's how I feel. I so love that you feel that, because that you see it, I just love that so
just
much.
Like, in the babysitting episode.
and do you know that? Well, I still want to tell you about the share video.
Get into the share video. Let's get into the share video. We can jump around.
Then we can go back to babysitting. All right, because if you don't know this story, and I think you're going to like it.
I bet I will.
It's the only time. It's the only time in all the years, in all the episodes, in the movie, ever, that I ever couldn't understand why Mike wanted something the way he wanted it. Okay. I was just like, I just couldn't understand until it finally, it's funny, but it's the end of the Beavis and Butt-Head share video. I don't know if you remember, but it ends with them back. Butthead is in the virtual reality. Butthead is with Cher, and he's got his hand on her leg, with a little touch of her leg, and she says, "Hey, why don't we?" Right? I think is she the one who says, "Why don't we?" Oh no, he says, "Hey, baby, why don't we?"
And she calls him Butt. I remember she's like, "I don't know, Butt," which is like I think the only time someone does that. It's so cool.
Right. But if you could get rid of, who,
Yeah.
and that was like, wait a second, it has to end with Beavis. It can't end with Beavis getting kicked out. And I don't remember if this was from before that scene with, when I first got the script. I was like, it had to be from before we boarded, and I was like, it can't end with Beavis. We're cutting to Beavis, Beavis. It has to end with Beavis. Something good happening with Beavis. I can't end with Butt-Head. And he goes, "What are you kidding? Of course it ends with Butt-Head." And it's like Beavis gets kicked out, and they was like, "No, can't end with." And then he said, and then I realized, and it was like he's got a score, and I was like, oh God. Because he's got a score, so it's got to end with Butt-Head. Because Beavis can't score. Oh, God! So that was like because you're a guy and I'm a woman. I wanted to end with the innocent guy. Something could happen. I don't remember now what I thought was going to possibly happen with Beavis, but I remember that. Oh, because he's got a score. I didn't think that way.
Man.
So.
Do you think Butt-Head did score? Ooh.
In his imagination. I don't think he would have known. I think he just would have stood there like, wouldn't have known what to do with Cher, just like they were with Dallas in the movie.
One of the best scenes, yeah. Or the undercover cop in the one episode, the way they respond to that was so classic as well. Oh, God, I forgot about that episode. Yeah. That's a great episode. It was like, you got 50 cents. Yeah. Oh, wow. What's that episode called? Put me on the spot. I know. I can't believe I forgot. Oh, well. I think it's something really obvious. Is it just Feel a Cop? I think it's Feel a Cop. Feel a Cop. That's it. Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. Yeah. Excellent. Right. And then they're trying to get them. Babysitter. They need to get them to specify that they want sex, but of course they just use all their innuendo talk of doing it. Just doing what? That's a perfect episode. That really is. Wow. It is. It is a great episode. Yeah, really great episode. There's so many. We were going to pay money for sex. What's that?
we did a lot of episodes.
Yeah, I mean, you had over 200 in that original run. That is insane. And that's probably why you can watch it progress as it is, because that was in a 4-year period, probably.
Yeah, probably 93, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, because 96 was the movie, and then we did one more season, so it went into. I guess it went into.
Was the last season done after the movie, or kind of during it as well?
There was one season done during the movie as well, and that's what Carol supervised the series while I was co-directing the movie. And
that's a short season, I think. But that season also does, I believe, have the Christmas special in. No, maybe.
No, because I directed the Halloween special, and I directed. I don't remember now if I directed the Christmas specials or if I supervising directed, because I know Tony Klug. I know. I think I directed the second one. Tony Klug directed the "It's a Wonderful Life" one.
Oh, okay.
And I directed.
Yeah, those are that is a perfect. That's a Christmas tradition for me.
It's beautiful. Year. So beautiful.
I always cry at the end. I say this like every episode, apparently. Yeah. But it's just so beautiful. It's perfect.
You know, I just realized I can't hear you that great, because I didn't have the external mics, speakers in. So now I'll be able to hear you great. Okay.
Oh, cool.
And Sean, I really can't believe I have to do this, but I have to pee.
You go ahead. You know what? I'll do something.
Can I go pee?
I'm gonna go pee too.
Do you want to talk about Babysitter and
well, yeah, but let's
have a special guest?
Let's go pee. Let's go pee first, and then we'll bring on our special guest.
Wait. I gotta raise you. Okay, talk. My microphones were all screwed up.
Okay.
Now it's okay.
All right. Let's go pee, and then we'll bring out our special guest.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll okay.
I'm gonna go.
Right.
Okay. We're on the same cycle.
Okay.
Yeah. Pull up.
Hello.
Hey. All right. So let's see. That's a good. How do you segue out of a bathroom break?
We're supposed to be segueing with our special guest, but as usual, my special guest doesn't look at his text or when he says he's going to, so we can just continue. Unbelievable.
The whole show's ruined.
Yeah. Yeah. Still hasn't.
We were already on thin ice with the bathroom break.
God. Oh.
But you did do one voice, correct, in the show?
Oh yes, I did one voice, and I believe that it was a typecast voice because Mike and Chris came up to me. And we just spoke about the Christmas special. That's where it was.
Actually, yeah.
That's where it was. It was in. I forgot that. Very good.
Yeah, right.
Very good segue.
It was unintentional. I don't know what I'm doing.
You sure do. It's just instinctive. You just pull it all out of the air. You know everything about it. So
I just got it.
They came up to me one day and said, "We want you to do a voice." Oh, wow! What voice? Mrs. McVicker. So, because I was.
That must have been so flattering.
If I don't see, well, I was flattered. I was like, oh, okay, you know, like, and they were laughing, and it's like, of course, they're talking about who could we get? We gotta get Yvette. She's nervous.
That's awesome.
She's a nervous wreck. She's just as nervous, and so I was like, oh, I could do it. Oh, the special guest is on its way.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it was. I loved it. I mean, it was so fun, and I just love that scene so much because I love Principal McVicker, and so I was honored. You know, I don't think I'd marry
outside the boys, and you played the wife perfect. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and I'm here, and we had
come on down.
Here,
I know.
Here, we should do the part. The McVicker. Yeah.
I had a much higher voice.
My son Randall, who was the group kid. He was the kid. He was whenever there was a kid, he got pulled in to record for us.
And you did a lot of it.
Yeah, I was about. But when it started, I was 8.
Yeah.
When it started, I was 8 years old, and it went on till I was 13, I think, or no, maybe 12 or 13. Yeah. And when I think I was around 11 when I did most of the voices. I was around 11, and my voice hadn't changed yet. It didn't sound like this, so I could play. I could get away with playing. Really little kids and babies.
Yeah. Now, actually, Sean, I think it was 5 or 6. I used to say it was 7 years because it was like 7 seasons. But the movie was 96, and then 97, we did another season, and then I think 98 was when we were on. Yeah, we were thinking of that there was going to be another movie, and I didn't clean out my office at MTV until 99.
Really?
So, but then again, I was not on Beavis. I was on the development. There was development, but so maybe it was 97, really, and then 98 was when we thought there would be a movie. But 97 was ending. So okay, back to the baby.
There's not much to say about it other than I did the voices, and then I did it again.
What's the first voice you did?
I think it was. Was it babysitter? No. I did voices ever since I was really little because of her. Because growing up with an animation legend, I was brought into all sorts of things, like Michael Sporn, who was a famous New York animator. The first thing I ever did was a voice for Sesame Street.
Really?
For a short film that he did for Sesame Street called "The Peanuts Sat on the Railroad Track."
Wow!
And it's a really cute little thing. It's actually on YouTube. It's around. It is on YouTube.
I will. I'll look it up.
Really
I can send you the link.
It was Sesame Street.
It was Sesame Street. Yeah. And that's my claim to fame. I think that's the best thing I've ever done. Probably is the voice for that Peanut when I was 5 years old.
But
you never topped your first attempt there?
That was my first. That was the best. That was the. Yeah,
but in Beavis, it was baby. So.
It's been downhill ever since.
No way, dude. Because you did quite a few scenes. You did the Christmas episode, as we said there. All of McVicker's kids, Tiny Tim, all of them pretty much, and then you did the 2 boys on babysitting,
right?
Which I forgot. I wanted to say, "Hey, how's it going, man?" to you. Damn it.
Yeah.
Let's start.
Well, I guess I should say
over.
I guess I should say that since then. But that was all great. I mean, and then when I was an adult, I did voices on the newer Beavis too. But
Buttaween was the other one he did. Buttaween, he was.
Yeah, that's right.
Power Rangers.
You were the trick or treater kids in the beginning.
Yes.
Trick
and
or treat.
Power.
No, I was the kid in the Power Rangers.
Oh, dude, yeah, the White Ranger. Yeah.
No, the Red Ranger.
Oh, okay, that's right. Yeah. Were you also the little kid that said, "I'm the Great Pumpkin. Who are you"?
I think there was someone else. No, was that me? No, that was me too. Yeah. I think they all were me. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that line's awesome.
I think they all were. I mean, they just changed. They might have pitched, or I don't know if they asked me to do something different. I don't know. It was all my voice, but I just.
But you did the little kid in babysitting, the booby, all the little like.
Yeah. Yeah, they asked me to do something. I mean, I was pretty good at improvising, so I managed to do some. Nonsense talk and
yeah, because I can't imagine some of that was actually like written down stuff, so they probably just had you.
I think they said do nonsense talk, but don't just say goo goo gaga, and I knew that. Like I was like, yeah, come on, guys. I was like, I know not to say just goo goo gaga. That's not gonna cut it, So I did some, so I don't know what I did.
How'd you do it?
Something like I guess I can still do it.
That was it.
Again, my other claim.
Do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite episode of the three or the four? Because you did Holy Cornholio as well. And,
yeah, that's. Definitely not that one. No. I like that one very much, actually. But
I don't.
No,
it's so.
Yeah, no. But I have my own reasons for liking that one. But let's see. No, I'm trying to think of. Well, I get residuals from it. That's why I got. Anyway, but it's not that big. It's nothing to really, it's nothing.
No residuals for the first.
No residuals from when I was for the old ones. I got they gave me $50, and I thought it was that was a lot of money.
Do you remember what you bought with it? I imagine I would at that age.
I think I put it in the account. I don't know.
Get out of here.
I don't remember. But
you're on Bill Stewart.
Yeah, right. But I think my favorite was maybe Buttaween.
Yeah.
Was my favorite. I love those three are so good though.
They are. Those are all perfect episodes.
They're really all good. I mean, the babysitting one is. I don't. It's hard to choose because those three are really good episodes. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I probably could because you can't downplay the Christmas episodes ever. They're so top tier, and you almost shouldn't even compare them to other episodes almost. So.
Yeah, that was the Christmas episode's so perfect. The Halloween episode's so much fun, and then they're just so different. They're also all three.
Yeah, actually, you kind of got to play in everything, like in every little category of it. In a sense, you got two of the specials, and then you got like a standalone type episode. That's one of the best standalone episodes too.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Yeah, just
it's perfect for that.
It's one of those pure moments with Beavis to see how he would respond to kids, and it's adorable. It's one of my favorite Beavis moments. So there. What was it like?
I don't think I had anything to do with that episode.
What was it like to meet him? Oh well, I was starstruck. It was hard.
I'd imagine.
Oh, you know what I wish I had?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I should have found this. I have a beautiful keepsake. Oh shit!
I have one funny story that
maybe.
Oh yeah, one
funny story. I mean, she's the star of this, obviously, but I will. I'll get. She said I should get lost soon, so all right. I will. But before I do, when I was 8 years old or 9 years old. I was so excited that she was doing this, and she would bring me over to. I would go to the office, and I'd hang out there, and I'd draw and everything, and I had an idea for an episode and I pitched them an episode, and it was right after the fire incident.
Okay.
The fire when they couldn't. I think I came up with it and pitched it right after they couldn't say fire anymore.
Well, please tell. Yeah.
And the episode was essentially that Butthead gets an opportunity to go on vacation somewhere, or he goes to the Bahamas somehow because he wins some prize. And some mail-in prize or something, some schlocky thing that he ends up actually getting taken to the Bahamas. It was kind of a ripoff of the Ren and Stimpy episode, the first Ren and Stimpy episode, the Stimpy's Big Day.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Where Hollywood and Ren is left alone. In this case, Butthead goes to the Bahamas, and Ren and Beavis is left alone. But
okay.
the punchline was that when Butthead comes back, Beavis burned down the house.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. And you're how old when you frickin' submit?
I was 9.
Yeah, that's an awesome memory. That's so cool.
I was basically that he's sitting, and the image was that he's standing in front of the house going, because it kept cutting back and forth between Butthead in the Bahamas and Beavis alone, not knowing what to do. And then eventually picking up the lighter.
You must have been the freaking coolest kid in your class to say your mom works on Beavis and Butt-Head, which was the most dangerous show in the world at the time. Or
it had some good moments,
Yeah, did it?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I can't find it.
Definitely.
I don't know where it is. It's probably in the garage in another file cabinet.
Let me let you get back to the star. And
thank you so much, dude. That was awesome. Everyone's gonna love that.
Pleasure.
Everyone's gonna love it. It's freaking awesome.
So you guys,
he also was the animatics editor for the 2010 run.
Really?
He worked with Mike. He was our editor.
Yeah, that's how I ended up. I think I was there, so I did more voices because I was just there.
Okay.
And then,
did you do more than just the Holy Cornholio voice on that season as well? Or were you throughout?
Yeah, I did a voice on the crying episode. I was the Bachelor guy in the.
Oh yeah,
TV.
that's awesome.
Yeah, and he was. I think he was he was saying something really cheesy, I can't remember now. It was 10 years ago.
I can't believe that was 10 years ago.
That was 10 years ago.
We're talking about
and then
30 years ago.
That's 25 years ago to 28 years ago.
Yeah, Beavis and Butt-Head's been a part of your freaking life. That's incredible. I relate in a sense.
Yeah. yeah. It's a huge, definitely, yeah.
At the same time, right?
Yeah. And, by the time I was 14, it was I had already grown up with it, and then I was like, wow, I'm their age now,
Yeah.
And I was like, I was like, wow, and yeah, it wasn't as fun as it seemed when watching that.
I had a few moments in my youth where I definitely it triggered my Beavis and Butt-Head to too full of an extent and got in trouble.
Sure. Yeah. Oh no, I didn't say I didn't get in trouble. I just.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't that bad.
I remember when I left Doug and went to Beavis, you were a little worried. You were a little upset.
Oh yeah, because I was still really young when she left Doug.
And your friends all loved Doug. And
I thought, well, Doug was really
how could you top that?
Yeah, I had no idea she'd go to the dark side.
But then that they'd be so popular.
And that it would be, well, also, I remember, can I say that what I remember the way you thought of it when it started? You didn't know.
I told her.
Yeah, you were like, what is this? You were like, she was like, I don't know about this. And we were talking about, because we were used to Doug being her thing at the time. Yeah. And then she was talking about this weird show with these
But I remember
characters,
that was before I started working on it, though, because I remember coming home and saying, "I said I would never show you this," but
and then I loved it. I loved it, of course.
Laughing. It was the soundtrack.
Oh God, how could
hilarious.
Yeah, you played no laughing, just the audio for him, correct?
That's what I remember.
Oh, that's a brilliant. That might be my favorite episode.
Yeah,
just the interaction between Buzzcut and Butthead is oh my God. That is that's brilliant. I can go on about it, but
episode that is.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Let me get out of here.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it. It's freaking awesome. Yeah, I know we're not finished, but Jesus, thanks for making this so awesome. This is, I can't. Between you and Chris,
thanks for giving me a chance to talk about.
Treated better as a fan than the two you have done to me. This is just unbelievable. But
the feelings
where can we go from here? Would you like to go into the movie, or?
I'd love to talk about the movie.
Let's go into the movie.
Love to talk about the movie. The movie is like the best. That was when I don't remember if I knew there was going to be a movie until John Andrews and maybe it was John and Abby Turcouli. They were our execs, producers. Called me over again. I picture every single thing I remember. We could also talk about Cornholio. I remember when Mike and Chris called me over to give me that episode, and Tony called me over to show me Stick. Abby, it's like there's no offices in my memory. I remember standing in the middle of everything. That's how it's impossible, but that's what I remember. Like, well, maybe because I had a beautiful office at one time. We moved 3 or 4 times to MTV Animation, but the last one I had a beautiful office overlooking Central Park. But I my back faced the window because I like to face the door so I could see if anyone was coming in to talk to me. So I never looked out the window, but so you'd think they would have come into my office to tell me, but I picture us in the middle of the floor somewhere with no, it was like a fantasy with like just the clouds or something. Yeah. And they said, Yvette, we want you to, we want you to direct the movie with Mike. And I was like, oh my God, I just like went insane. I was like, of course. And I just couldn't believe it. It was, I never expected such a thing. And it was the best. It was the best. It was intense. It was crazy. I remember thinking, oh my God, none of us have ever made a movie. We don't know how to make a movie. How do we make a movie? And we got a producer from LA to come. I was like, they make movies in LA. We have to work with LA, But meanwhile, even though we were working with Paramount and Michelle Manning, no one ever suggested we didn't know how. But I was worried, so we expanded, really quickly. And during the movie, I think we had 200 people on staff, and it was incredible. And I handpicked. I cast. So I cast the movie the way that Mike was the way we split the work. Mike directed. Mike, of course, co-wrote the script with Joe Stillman, who was brilliant. And Mike directed the voice, the actor, the celebrities. Mike and Chris would go, since Chris was always the voice. He was the producer, did the voices always with Mike. So they flew to Sun City to record Bruce Willis and Demi Moore. I don't remember stories about Robert Stack. But I do remember the stories of Cloris Leachman, which were wonderful. She, rest in peace, she just passed. But I would. So the only voices I directed, and this is funny, I directed Mike at Sync Sound, like as if Mike needed anyone to direct him. But I was there, sitting there with John Bowen, who was our sound engineer at Sync Sound, and Mike was in the booth. And maybe I would remind him every once in a while that this is going to be happening, so blah blah blah, But so I put all the tracks together. I put the track together, but then Mike would listen and revise things, to what he wanted, to make it better than what he wanted, just to make it work better. And but I was at the studio. Mike was living in Austin at the time, and actually out in LA. Doing the pilot for King of the Hill. So I was in the studio working with the staff, which I what I was starting to say was that I cast all my directors. I broke up the script into, I don't know how I knew to do this, but it was the only way I knew how to make it handleable. I broke up the script into acts. Like, what did I call them? Sequences. Call them sequences. And I believe we had 23 sequences. That's the number that's in my mind. It might have been 19. I think it was 23. And I had these sequences, and I knew I had Ilya, Tony, Jeffrey, Mike DeSev, Brian Mulroney, Carol Milliken, and at the time, I think Ray Kozerin directed one sequence. I broke them up between I actually didn't direct any of the sequences, but I did do the sheets for Cornholio at the White House. That was called the Showdown. That sequence was called the Showdown. So I handled Cornholio timing. But Tony Clue directed that episode, and John Rice, who actually did half of the second the 2010 supervisor direct the second. He was one of our storyboard artists. We imported him from LA, and he boarded the Showdown. He did. I loved working with him on the boards that he did for the movie. So I broke up and I gave out I handpicked. Jeffrey Johnson got all of Muddy and Dallas scenes because he was great with human characters. He was great with. Jeffrey Johnson directed Babysitting.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty positive he did. So Jeffrey had all the Muddy and Dallas scenes. But we had a board. We had storyboard department, and not all our directors were boarding their scenes. So we had board artists doing boards for them. So they were like little groups working together on their sequences, and all of them working for me, and I would see everything. And there were sometimes maybe I would work with the board artists, and then the directors would come on. I'm not sure. I remember now. Maybe it worked both ways. Maybe in some cases it was the director would work with the board artists. In some cases, I would work with the board artists and the directors. And Mike would see everything. We would send it to him. He would see every board. He would see every. Now Mike was the one who worked with the designers always. So I didn't have a hand in designing any of the characters, the new characters. Mike did that completely with our design crew, our art director, and worked on the backgrounds and. This is a fun story. We knew I guess we didn't know we were. We knew Mike always wanted the show to look better. Be drawn more. Yeah. Finally, not the way it was at the beginning. That you saw it yourself that it evolved. Yeah, well, the movie was our chance to really get him what he wanted, finally. And so our experiment, the way we decided we better the hell do this is we went into a big theater and we screened an episode, and these big heads come on the screen and it's like, these big close-ups on TV, it works perfectly. Yeah. It was pre-day of huge big screens. Now it probably would be just as scary on most people's huge screens. But in those days,
because they're just like cut off right here. It's just like boom.
Yeah. We're like, we can't do that. And then talking to the camera, looking at the camera, because our main view for Beavis and Butt-Head
not cinematic at all.
It was front views. We couldn't do that. So we're like, holy shit.
Shot in the movie is from over top. That initial couch shot, it's all like so cinematic and whatnot.
The initial couch shot?
In Do America, when they wake up from the Godzilla sequence.
It's not really from above, but it's a slightly above because
right.
It was waking. Actually, it starts at a close up because
it does start at that actual close up, yeah, and then it kind of comes from above.
The last scene is the overhead shot,
right?
And this is why it was very deliberate. It was. At the very beginning, when we first got the script, there was no Godzilla sequence in the script. Mike added that afterwards. Okay. So that is a very cinematic piece, but originally it wasn't there. So I made the rule. After seeing these monsters screaming at us on the big screen, horrifying everyone, we knew we couldn't do that. And we had to redesign the model pack too, and design them how they would look, in different views, and favor the 3/4 because we had the size of the frame was the different framing, the CinemaScope or whatever the movie framing. We had to have 3/4 and cut to 3/4. We couldn't have front view talking, cut to front view talking. We had to, but I was like, the fans though, they're so used to, we don't want to shock the hell out of them with this cinematic Beavis and Butt-Head. So I said that opening sequence, we're going to do exactly the way, we're going to do it two shot on the couch, standard 2 shot, standard 1 shot, and then when that's over, and that's why we added the pull out to the overhead shot of the couch. Is now we're in a movie.
That's awesome.
I have the chills talking about it.
So good. It's so perfect. It's such a perfect movie. It's such a perfect movie. That Isaac Hayes theme just the credit sequence was directed by Mike DeSev and Brian Mulroney. They did the credit sequence, which is fantastic. Oh yeah, the movie almost has 2 parody opening goes from the Godzilla and then to the Starsky and Hutch. Pretty much, right?
Yeah. It's amazing that it works,
It works so good.
It's a mirror. I to this day, I say it's a perfect little. The script is perfect. Everything. I'm so proud of it. It's the thing I'm most proud of, in my career. That I loved. It was amazing experience, and I don't know what else to say. I could talk about it all day. I love everything about it.
I love talking to you about it. Really, it did.
Yeah, if there's any specifics you want to ask me about.
Well, you did bring some stuff that you wanted to show, correct?
Oh, well, there's a lot more, and like I said, we could definitely do a part 2.
Oh yeah.
But I did find I was explaining to you when we spoke about the way when I became supervising director. One of the things I would do was to do what we called script notes on a script, which was breaking down, all the dialogue is there, and then we'd write cut to 2 shot or cut to close up Beavis, cut to, where it would cut, so that, and because we had the track already, so we would, and that was one of my biggest joys, going in and working with anything I directed. I would go, Chris would always do the first cut on the track to create a pre-radio. It wasn't really a radio play like the way they were in the first season, where we couldn't change any timing. But because we were boarding to, it was getting more elaborate, the boarding, we were able to then go back into the directors would go back into the sound studio and finesse it, or I would finesse it. I don't remember now whether I did. I know I didn't do all of them, but I did a lot. And I definitely did it for everything I directed. And so we'd have two versions of scripts. I have scripts where I'm just making little notes about where to open up and put more laughs, or where to cut out some laughs and little things. It was always little things because they were so perfect, really. They were just little things. But then when it was time to give it to a board artist or a director, I would go in and put detailed cuts. That of course they could do something else if it turned out to be better, but at least this would be a guide. And the way I learned how to do it was because when I started directing on the on the JJ season, Mike did it. Mike did those notes. So it was one of the biggest honors when Mike asked me, because he couldn't anymore do everything with all of this. He asked me to do the script notes. And my test was that when he was reading my script notes, the very first episode, which I wish to God I remembered what that was, and I just can't remember the first episode I did the script notes. Later on, I probably will, if I go through all my scripts. And he said that as he's reading them, he was picturing what should happen, and he looked down, and that's what I wrote. So it was like, how lucky could I have been? Awesome. How blessed. Because I really did. It was really important to me to like I used to me. This was my gift and it was my curse. To me, everything I ever worked on, they became my characters. Clearly, Beavis and Butt-Head were not my characters; they're Mike's characters. But that was the way I was able to do what I did. They were my adopted, I was foster, they were mine, I wouldn't have ever said that to him, like they're mine, but that's how I approached it.
I can tell just by talking to you about them, how much you love them and know them and are a part of them. And the same goes for Chris. I mean, I know. The show was a team effort at the end of the day. And I know. You guys all loved doing it and loved and believed in those characters so much. And that is what bleeds through in just an unbelievable way. And not many shows really can do that.
No, we really were magic. But again, it's more than just we loved the characters. It was Mike's characters that we loved. So it was Mike's vision, Mike's like getting into Mike's head and his rhythm. That was the most important thing, And once I had that trust, and once like I said, it was very rare that I would think something completely different. It happened in a couple of cases, but mostly he could relax. It was also he could relax, and not worry about it. And the times when he had to pull something back or shift it in another direction in the movie, that it was not meant. It was the exception, It was really the exception. Thank God, and so.
You really did. It's just. Without you, his vision may have never been fully realized, so it's absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Beavis may have never been fully realized. I've never said this, but I feel like your and Mike's chemistry may have been amalgamated into the characters a little bit, and I think I think it's kind of beautiful. But
thank you so much. Yeah. I love to think to believe that. I love to think that. And one but Mike did used to say to me, "Settle down, Yvette." So maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. And
you have a few favorite episodes that you.
Yeah, but I do want to show you, since you asked this. I found this is not from the JJ season, but this is Citizen Butt-Head, if you remember.
Oh yes.
That was one of the first. That's probably one of the first episodes I directed at MTV Animation, because Mike did the script notes, not me. And
the script.
This is the script, and it's a light copy, so I don't know if you'll see. But can you see Mike's handwriting? And little drawing.
Oh wow! That's supposed to be the dude on the TV there, or whatever.
Here's the guys on the TV,
Yeah.
And it says exactly where to cut and where.
I always wondered if in that episode, it seems so likely that Butt-Head says this comment about because you're the president, you can like drop bombs on things and set things on fire. And then Beavis goes, yeah, and it seems cut. It seems so.
It is cut. I don't know if that's the exact spot, but if you felt it's cut, I'll say yes, it is cut. One of my horrors, one of the biggest horrors, was that's one of the episodes they didn't let us fix ourselves. They just edited it wholesale.
Yeah, because that episode was supposed to air, I think, a week after the Moraine, Ohio incident. And I think maybe you delayed it a week. Am I right? Or
I don't know, but they didn't let us touch it. They did it themselves.
Yeah.
MTV.
Yeah. It's funny because they let Butt-Head say fire, and then Beavis, it goes, yeah, and it like cuts. And Beavis was supposed to say fire, fire, fire into the microphone. But,
yeah. There's other things they cut in that episode. I think one of my favorite moments of all. Do you remember Beavis saying to Clinton, "Back off, you fat pig"?
Yes.
Oh, it's in?
That made it, yes.
Oh, all right. I thought they cut that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
That made it in. There may be edits of it. A lot of those episodes, you can claim there's 4 versions of. MTV, probably without you guys knowing, was just Stewart's House. I think there's 5 edits of. And it's just like the scene will be a little less extended or completely gone, or it's just ridiculous what they did.
I know. It was very heartbreaking. They did, thank goodness, let us fix a couple of things ourselves, but because we could have come up with a solution, we just didn't have time. I guess Susan Butt-Head was the one out the door and ready to go. We probably didn't have another, so
yeah. And you guys were advertising the heck out of it too. I mean, the president was about to be on Beavis and Butt-Head.
Right, I guess so. Look, here's my script notes from Manners Suck. You see, I did little drawings, a lot of little drawings. That the actual,
I want to get those tattooed on me.
and yeah, like everything, like I would, because as an animator, that's what I wanted. I loved that script and the track so much. I just loved.
Is that your drawing of Butt-Head?
Yeah, they're all.
Can I see it a little closer?
Which one?
Yeah, that one. That's so awesome.
And then this one.
That's so awesome. I love that.
Thank you.
Oh man. Wow.
Yeah, I'll show you here. And there were I have all these. These are the first sketches. The sketches I would do that I would give then to Tony Eastman. These are with the script notes if I wanted to add some more stuff. So that's like
that's awesome.
Beavis and when they say something that he gets upset in the foreground.
Yeah.
Like sometimes Tony would use them and sometimes he wouldn't. But like this was like the master shot.
Oh my gosh.
And
freaking
I love that episode. That was perfect. Speaking of like my favorite episodes, the reason because it was they really interacted with this person, and it was unusual that they interacted that much with a person.
Can you repeat
it gave me a chance.
Your camera just, you said the reason that episode's so special is because, and then everything cut out.
For me as a director, is because they really interacted with this other character. Usually, they were more, they would react to, and other characters would react to them, like Anderson. They weren't interrupt, but this was really like directing a real show.
Yeah, you're right. Or they'll interact to each other for Yeah, you're right. Mr. Manners, they talked back to him. Yes,
they talk back to him, and they obey him too. So I love the scene when he has Beavis
Master Beavis.
Ready, Master Beavis, and he introduces it and he hasn't come over. So I actually, choreographed this whole little thing. And I used to call it, because I never had the film language, the actual words, because I didn't learn that way. But I used to call it layers. I was able to play with layers, and one of my big layered shows was
to a restaurant.
Yeah, I love that. Now I know I have this because I just found it.
Can you take my order?
I can't find it now. I had a script for. Oh, here it is. Crappuccino, which is Butt-Nicks.
Butt-Nicks, yes.
To me, that one was. There's my drawing of the girl at the beginning.
Oh, the poet, yeah.
Yeah.
Your liver.
yeah. And I just.
Ooh, what's that? One of the boys there.
Which one?
Do I see one of the boys there on the back?
Oh, this is I drew that. That's Beavis falling asleep.
That's really good.
Thank you.
Oh, I love when his shirt gets all.
I know. And so this has really detailed notes. I had to figure this was kind of hell to do because Mike, our original designs of the table size and the size of the room, Mike really finessed that. He knew exactly what he wanted to see, and then we were able to. Then I knew the space I had, but I had so much fun working with the stage, the audience, and the cutting between them. So I used to call it. I had so many layers to work with. It was just more. It was a little more cinematography. It gave me the opportunity to really. And I'm the kind of director that I like to keep track of everyone, and I don't like time to go by where you don't know what someone is thinking. So I loved cutting to reactions and cutting to back and forth.
Well, that's
of course it was in the script, but sometimes I would just cut. Sometimes I would move things so that.
That is my second favorite episode of all time. Actually, I love Butt.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Number one is
wow.
Woodshop.
Woodshop?
Yes.
Woodshop is Brian Mulroney. That's hysterical.
That blew my freaking mind when I was a kid. That fucking blew my mind.
I would imagine.
That was the first time I ever laughed to that point where you're trying to catch your breath and you start to get worried.
Wow, really?
I swear to God, that
oh my God.
That blew my mind. But Butt-Nicks is perfect.
I definitely have that
perfect.
script,
it's
but
just
not
equally a good Butt-Head episode for being a Cornholio episode too. Cornholio doesn't outshine Butt-Head and Butt-Nicks necessarily. They're both just as good in that episode. Butt-Head's terrible post.
Kind of like in the movie. It kind of similar in a way to the end of the movie. Yeah. And just some other. These are like little treasures for me. But when like with Cornholio, Tony Eastman did the board, but like the same way with Mr. Manners. I don't know if Tony did the Mr. Manners board or not, but maybe. But we know Tony Eastman did the Cornholio board. But I would send him. I would do little, aside from the script notes, like I said, I'd give drawings. Now here was a possibility for the way to discover. I wrote here, Tony, basically all I want is a funny setup to Butt-Head seeing Beavis for the first time. Chris would really like an eye-to-eye moment. Maybe they're just next to each other and separated just by the cut. See what you come up with. But I also sent him this.
Oh yeah, with the brilliant the cupboard opening from the inside and him behind. Yeah, right. It's a brilliant setup.
And that's what he used. That's what he used.
Yeah.
I wrote.
Yeah, that's so memorable.
Yeah. So this was. And I did write or start on Butt-Head looking in cabinet, and then he have Beavis. Well, he hears Beavis off screen, turns head, and reveal Beavis on the counter. So that's what we did in one. So I actually did that before Tony. So Tony used that. So I'm so proud of that. I'm so glad he didn't choose that or choose something else. But then here's another moment that I sent him.
Oh, the janitor.
Yeah, walking down the hall.
I love that janitor character. I know he's the farmer as well, but I mean, he's
great. He's great.
And I love that you guys actually brought him back for Beavis and Butt-Head Are Dead, because he really only speaks maybe 4 times in the series before it, but you still had him call him dumbasses one last time. It was
yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's great. He's
they were
great.
A couple of dumbasses.
Dumbasses, yeah. And here's, I don't know if you can hear this. Do you see this little drawing?
Oh my God. I love it.
Oh, would you like to see my photo? That drawing, I was terrified. Probably the reason I have it so little, sending it to Tony Eastman, was I was terrified that it was going too far for Mike. And I usually he would tell me, and I think I never knew, and it might have even been, I don't know if it was in the audio commentary or some play of the movie. So at some point it came up and he said, yeah, I loved that. And I was like, oh my God, I never knew. I always was afraid you'd hate it. It's awesome. Not, it's more like this. It's more like this in the actual show. It's not so down like I had it. It's more
right.
Would you like, and but he's never done anything like that again. He never did anything we never used that again. Whereas all the other things that we developed that, I take, I mean, of course, this and the hat was all that was delivered to me with the script. I knew that he did that. That was Chris and Mike. But other things, and I knew he would shake his fists, I think, but I didn't know anything else, how to get, what to do with him through all that. I didn't just want to have him standing there in one spot. So I came up with the pacing back and forth.
Yes. That pacing is really, and especially when he slumped down a little bit, almost like defeated. when he does it too, it's so good.
But in Cap Frappuccino, right? And Butt Fun. Yeah, but even in the first Cornholio, he's pacing back and forth.
No, I was talking about the first one where after the Spanish teacher kicks him out, Beavis almost kind of slumps over when he leaves, almost like defeated by it. It's just going back.
Oh, right, but he's not pacing. I don't think he paces again, right? Or does he?
I think, he leaves and then he comes back through again. He goes,
I so love that moment. Yeah. I was like, he's got to come back.
Yeah.
So those are the things that aren't in the script. Those are the things that are the gift for a director and a board artist, to do. They're not in the script, so So those are the one. So there were places where it wasn't a radio play only anymore. There was the visuals were.
Did you work on the episode where they're trying to get the workers' constipation? That was
what chapter?
They're trying to get the workers' compensation at Burger World, and Butt-Head keeps hurting Beavis, and Beavis is letting him. That was.
I don't remember that, but something about the idea of the compensation makes me think Jeffrey Johnson directed it. But that wasn't a JJ. That wasn't from the beginning.
No, that might have been one of the last. In fact, that was the season you guys that was probably getting made while you're doing the movie. It was probably why.
So I didn't work on it.
But that one was very expressive with Beavis as well. That was. But besides the point. But
I did Tainted Meat. I love doing Tainted Meat.
Oh, what a fantastic episode.
So I did all these episodes that really you wouldn't think that I would have done, but I anything that Beavis, so anything Beavis, that was before Most Wanted, right?
No, that was after most.
Oh, okay. Because God, I just so loved it, and I actually was just on one of our board artists and character designers, Willie Hartland, who also worked on Beavis and Butt-Head Dead, and I have the board here if you want to see.
Absolutely.
He has a radio show now that he had me on to it, and he remembered because he boarded Tony Eastman boarded Tainted Meat, but maybe Willie did some boarding on it or revisions or maybe layouts. He was doing the layouts probably, and he said that he asked me, how is he supposed to scratch himself with a spatula?
Oh,
and he remembered me standing there acting it out.
Just like he's scraping the grill. It's so bad.
I'm like, that's what we did, like I would get down on the floor and, act things out and because that's what animators do. I know how many times I was waiting for a subway train and counting steps for Cornholio, how many steps, and I'm walking back and forth looking like a lunatic, that's what animators do.
That episode too also has that great shot where like in slow motion Beavis grabs the patties and like it, like comes back and the meat's kind of falling off. And
Tony Eastman's board is exactly that. This big hand. Just
everyone
beautiful.
Gets sick at once and Butt-Head hands that guy's food.
I love that episode.
That's so good. That's one where it's kind of amazing you got away with, not on that it was an imitatable thing, but just like, wow, that's...
Yeah, that's gross. That's like, wow.
That was like 1994 or 5. I mean...
They didn't mind when we were gross. They only minded, when was... Actually, they did mind when we were gross a little bit. Let me see if I can... There's some really charming little censorship notes.
Oh, cool.
I don't know. I mean, I know I had them.
Censors.
Let me see if I can find them. Because I have. But if I don't have them on me here, we'll do a part 2, and I'll show you. But they would write things like, for like if it, let's say it was wood shop or something, make sure. Oh here, okay, here it is for butt flambe.
Oh yeah.
Remember butt flambe?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, here I just passed a drawing for butt flambe. Here's I found this. This is from our storyboard supervisor, Patrick Warlock. It says, what does it say? Yvette, here. This is the what does it say? This is the latest based on MJ's sketch. So that's the design of Beavis. But so Mike would do, that's like that would be a design element,
I remember as a kid not understanding what they really did at the end of that. It was a little over my head,
That's great. Good. I'm glad.
Yeah, because you guys really, that was the point, to get away with this big fire reference, but be so subtle that you could get that. That's what I felt like that episode was accomplishing. So.
Right. Here's the censorship, the standards and practices note for overall caution. Try not to be too disgusting. Try not to be too disgusting.
On what scale?
That was our notes. Caution on sound effect of butt sticking to chair. Cannot be too gross.
That effect is brutal. It sounds like freaking like a roll of duct tape, just like come on, man. That I mean, how much worse could you have made? That's so bad. It's like his skin, like freaking.
Yeah, a fun book would be just the standards and practices notes. They're very, very fun. you know. So, and then what else should I show you? There's this is, oh wow, oh my God, this is I didn't realize this was in here. This is the showdown board. This is the end of the movie. This is John Rice's board for the showdown.
Oh, that's the actual storyboard for it, huh?
Well, it's a copy. It's a Xerox copy.
I don't think I've ever seen storyboards for the movie.
I have the entire. I actually have two versions of the entire board in a clipboard sequences. And the way John Rice boarded, the way he would board with me, he would send me. He's the only one because he was working from L.A. He moved to New York for a part of it, but a lot of times, most of the time, at least for this part, he was sending me drawings. And instead of doing thumbnails on the entire board, he would send me shots, like random shots, and then I would put them together. I would say this for this and this for this, and not for everything, of course. He would fill in, but I would pick those key. I love this. We have to use this for this, you know. And
because the movie
so look, here's the end. Like here's the end when the unit is flying up.
Oh yeah.
Cuts, and here it is following.
Oh my God! Let me see Butthead's butt. That I laughed so hard the first time at that with just Butthead's laugh slowed down.
yeah. Well, that's the kind of thing he would send, and we would put it in that way, like here. Like I'd give notes like, make sure guard whips Tom around to I don't know what, you know.
Poor Tom.
It's so great. Yeah. Oh, this is these are notes here. Then this is show you that Mike would get everything and then send notes, you know. So that would his notes would come. Let me see what. I don't have all of them, but I just know he's got that drawing. I don't know if Mike did that drawing or
is that like that was supposed to be like the
a wanted poster.
Wanted poster, yep. That's awesome.
Yeah. Just see what else. Oh, see, these are Mike's notes on these. This is Mike's handwriting. So he wrote, maybe just start with. Can't read that. Balls only a little wider, Lucine 1. I know.
And this is for the movie?
Yeah. So,
oh,
so
yes.
we do the board and then send him everything, and then he would make notes, and then I would revise the boards accordingly, and then I would do the animatic with the board that Mike, you know, the final board, and then Mike would approve or make notes on the animatic for me to change. But here's an original thumbnail board from Ted Stern on Beavis and Butt-Head Are Dead.
Is that the movie? Oh.
No, this is Beavis and Butt-Head Are Dead.
Oh, get out of here. Really? That's...
Yeah. Look, here's when...
And you had a big part in Beavis and Butt-Head. Oh, no.
I directed it.
Yeah.
I directed it.
You were telling me you put together the sequence where McVicker's having...
Yeah, it went right there. It went right there. Apocalyptic sequence.
Yep, right there. And then it would go into the flash of all the old scenes. And you put in so many of the scenes that at that time were bad.
So it was never boarded. I sat there with our editor, David Hughes, and we did it together. He was brilliant. He now works at Adult Swim. He's like a...
So when you were putting that together, you had to have gone out of your way to grab all those scenes that you knew were like the most taboo. Because, I mean, you had Beavis setting the newspapers on fire, them shooting the plane out of the sky. I mean, that whole end sequence in general, right there is where my heart starts to break. And then it's the caption that comes up when they're walking into the sunset of thank you to all the intelligent. I don't want to mess it up,
No. Thank you. You don't.
So hard to make Beavis and Butt-Head look so dumb.
Yeah.
And I'll be seeing you. And that was my gift. That was I wanted to say goodbye. You wrote that.
I wrote that. I wrote that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike chose the
my heart broke so hard I couldn't even tell you. And
thank you. And I picked the images that would go under it, like Butthead's butt and Piper Doom, and that's what I'll be looking at the moon.
I'll be looking at the moon, but I'll be seeing you. And then it ended with them with the nachos on the couch. Oh, it's just so. TV just ended right there.
Thank you. I know that's one of my proudest. That's one of the moments I'm proudest of because it was me. It was my way of saying to everyone who always thought they just, they were just dumb, but it was incredible writers, incredible writing. I mean, most of our writers were Harvard grads. I mean, that's the case in most adult TV animation, like The Simpsons and everything. It's not most a comedy. These are smart people. They're not, they were so smart, and Mike so perfect, so smart that it was never like you never knew that it was even a writer's word. It was them. It was Beavis and Butt-Head, and it was like they weren't. There was never nothing like that. Nothing like that.
I mean, you guys. Are legends, and you changed television. I mean, and honestly, I'm tearing up right now just to imagine myself when that series finale ended and reading those words and hearing that song, and then to just hear you describe it. I guess if I died tomorrow, I'd be okay.
Oh, Sean, don't go anywhere. We need you. We need you to talk to everybody who worked on the show and loved it. Can you imagine that would be some reunion? Getting everybody together. They can all come here if it's time comes that we can all be together again. Because most of us are here in LA now. A lot of us are here in LA.
That would be
still my closest friends, still the people I love the most. That was really family.
Yeah. No, I'll work towards that over time because that would be absolutely. Thank you. Okay, I'll continue to live. I'll go on. Go on another day. Is there anything else you wanted to show off, or?
I unfortunately I don't think I have enough. This is what's weird is this is weird. This board actually says supervising director Yvette Kaplan, storyboard artist Willie Hartland and Ted Stern, which I knew, but director Jeffrey Johnson, Tony Klug, and Ilya Skorupski. But I say I directed it. So I don't know what this is like weird. Maybe I adopted it so much. I worked so hard working with the guys on it that I feel like I directed it.
Was this the movie?
No, Beavis and Butt-Head are dead.
Beavis and Butt-Head are dead. Oh, you directed it. Just burn that little bit.
I probably didn't because if it says they did, or maybe they did sheets for after I worked on the board of it. Maybe that's what they did. I don't know because none of these drawings are Ilya's drawings. Ilya didn't. This is not. I know Ilya's drawings.
That is all one episode in your hand right there?
It was a 3-part, remember? Or 2-part?
Yeah, but then all the clips in between and whatnot, if you'd removed those, I always figured it'd be kind of short, but my gosh.
No. There was 3 parts, so it's like the length of a half, almost the length of a.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It's probably the longest original episode, or
yeah, it is.
No, maybe the Christmas specials were.
They were 2 parts.
Yeah.
They were 2 parts because, or maybe not, because they aired. They were the Christmas episode had only the 2 of them in it. So was it an hour or was it a half hour? It was only a half hour.
I will say it has to be the longest running, because even Bungholio Lord of the Harvest had like Halloween themed music videos in between it when it would originally. Right.
So Beavis and Butt-Head are dead, or is longest.
Do you have a favorite music video that they ever watched, just in general? I know you weren't like a big part of it, but
I wasn't a part at all of it.
Yeah, just like, well, you love music, I'm sure. Was there ever,
I love music.
Was there ever a band that got on that you were like, oh, that's awesome, that I can...
No, not really. But in the movie, working with the score, the music drop-ins in the movie, I became a huge Ozzy Osbourne fan.
Oh, yeah.
And one of my favorite songs ever is the
the one in the movie?
What?
The one in the movie?
Yeah. Magic Man. Walk on Water. Walk on Water. Oh my God! And the version in the movie is not the version that's released. Yes, and this is one of our. This was one of my moments editing the movie, and I was in LA working with the editor. But Mike and I were both there, but Mike wasn't there all the time that I was there. So I would be with the editor editing. Oh God, yep, beautiful. Oh my God, what is that?
It's a.
Where did you get that?
It's a promotional copy. There's also a vinyl of this that's a picture disc, but I have it stored away.
Oh my God, why don't I have that?
You want it?
Why did someone give that to me?
I'll send it to you.
Mike, if you're watching, oh my God, I loved that song so much that when I was editing that
fantastic
piece,
too.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
I'm going to send this to you.
No, don't.
No, this is yours. I have a double of it. Trust me. I have a double of it.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I have like a double of everything.
Oh my God. And it's the whole song, not just what was in the movie, right? It's the whole song?
From Beavis and Butt-Head, original motion picture. It's a promotional copy. So this wasn't sold in stores. This was like a radio.
I know. But the song was I loved it so much that when I was editing that sequence with the money traveling, money driving, I used the whole song. I used the whole song because we had enough shots to do for the whole song. And then Mike saw it and said, "We can't use the whole song, Yvette. You can't use the whole song." I'm like, "Well, I don't want to use the whole song." And he cut it down to what it is in the movie now. And I've never heard the whole song since.
So I don't know. I don't know if this is like the demo version that's used in the song, or if it's because it actually says produced by Moby, which is strange. But either way, I'm going to send it to you because you deserve it.
Oh God, Sean, that's like a dream come true. Thank you so much.
I've been dreaming about this CD.
Oh my God! Well, so really, I hate to say that that's the only time that I was completely captured by a song, and I still it's in my phone, and it's part of my music, iTunes, and whatever.
That's my favorite
comes
song on that soundtrack too. I 100% agree. Yeah.
So wonderful. But as far as the videos, I wasn't that kind of. I remember, really enjoying watching the Aerosmith, stuff with when they were interacting with that. But I was more concerned with them, than the music. To me, the music videos were just a foil for what they would say.
I did not care for the video segments as a kid that young, because I only cared about their commentary, and I was too young to get this joke about this band and whatnot. So it was all just going over my head. I love them now. The whole thing is, it wouldn't change a thing about it. But as a kid, it was kind of those segments sometimes felt like commercial breaks to me.
Well, for me, I felt the same. I wasn't a kid, but my head was in a different place. I only cared about them. So they were just there so that Beavis and Butt-Head could say something. So I remember on the copy, like when we shoot it, when we videotape them off TV when they aired, I would just, because we had copies, we were given copies from MTV, VHSs of the actual episodes, but they were VH1, it was before they were edited with the music videos. So the only way I could see it with the videos was watching it on TV. So I remember just listening for what they were going to say, because I didn't know. Those were the only parts that I didn't know about ahead of time.
That's pretty cool, though. So when you would actually catch that on TV, the music video segments were catching you off guard with the dialogue and whatnot.
Yes.
That's really cool. So you kind of got the best of both worlds in that regards. I
got to be a fan. I got to be oh wow, what they said. So I was just listening for them. When it's music I love, I'm just, all I hear is the music, because I'm a huge music fan. The music, the boys, the MTV music was not my, I was more folk music and country rock and
George
stuff
Jones
that they would have hated.
George Jones is my all-time favorite. George Jones.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I wasn't really. I lived through the. I was a child through it, but outside of rap, I didn't get into it either. So maybe that's where there was a disconnect with me too. That there was a lot of the music that was out at the time and whatnot, and to this day, I'm not like the biggest into the '90s decade. But yeah, but it was such a part of musical pop culture. I mean, I think most people who haven't thought about the show in a long time probably affiliate it more with the music videos, and whatnot. And it's a shame that a lot of it isn't on home video for those fans I can't tell you how many times people have told me I bought the DVDs and the videos weren't there and they were just all upset. And I guess maybe it's left a mystique for people to care a little more in that regard. So
I think it was just that it was too MTV didn't own those music, the music. I mean, they would have had to pay, royalties again. I think
there was well over 1,000. So yeah, it would have. Yeah, that'd be an expensive box set.
yeah. But it is something that maybe it'll be in the future. Maybe they'll maybe Comedy Central will do it. I don't know. I don't know. So
well,
there's
Let's see.
Do you want to talk about favorite episodes, or ask me about any other episodes?
Favorite? Do you have a favorite?
I guess Cornholio is my favorite but I don't know if it really. Huh?
It's so cliche.
I know. I don't know if it's really my favorite or if it's just because I worked on it and it changed so much and but I do love it. But it's not like when I watch it, I'm not surprised anymore. Let's see what could have. I mean, like Randall said, no laughing. Still, I personally love the Crude era, and I would have been happy to continue not that way, but maybe at season 3 or something, not get. But then again, I'm proud of them. I love the movie and the way they look there too. So, but I love the simplest ones. I love Killing Time. I love when they did as little as possible.
Well, that's a good answer. I like that one. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's a perfect episode where nothing happens.
Nothing happens. It's so pure. And I know you and Chris spoke about A Great Day, and that too. I just love A Great Day.
That one is just out of this world. That's
yeah. And I love
Find a Dead Bird, give a kid.
Oh God, love it. And I love it was in my mind. I was going to say it, and it went away when I said Killing Time. Or when I said no laughing. I love the Burger World ones. I love that. That was one of the first ones I did too, where it's just the drive-through sign, and it's just voices, and you're just looking at the drive-through sign.
It says like Dr. Poop on it and stuff. Yeah.
But it's just like, and it cuts to the guy in the car. One time it's Anderson, but another time it's somebody else, right? And they're just talking. It's just the voice.
Yeah, it was McVicker, and it was before he was before anyone would have known he was the principal. As a matter of fact, I think that's McVicker's first performance.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's right.
Like
I also.
Yeah.
Also, which is also a cliche for me to say, animation sucks, because
what a damn good episode.
This is something you might not know too, since we were talking about what was animated in house and what wasn't. I'm sure you know that Beavis and Butt-Head's animation was Mike's animation.
Nope. I don't think any of us have ever actually known that. So that was
oh my God.
So Mike actually drew each frame by frame for their thing?
Yes.
That's actually my next tattoo. I'm going to get some of that on me. I want to get the dog ripping apart Butthead and stuff.
It was Mike's animation. Mike
so cool.
was them. He funneled them so much he animated what they would animate. And isn't it wonderful? And then there's other animation in it. The Cassandra animates the flower. Yeah. That Diane Sparagano, who was our design supervisor at that time, she animated that.
That's so awesome.
She designed it because she identified with Cassandra.
Oh no way! I love Cassandra. That's kind of a underrated character.
And then can you guess maybe who animated or at least storyboarded and designed Van Driesen's?
Well, I'm going to say Tony.
Me.
No, really? You did that? The fucking...
I told you I drew little simple, cutesy things. So that was me.
Oh
I had to do it.
That's so perfect. The way that they look with the noses and the pokers. Get out of here. That's awesome. That's so, and then they morph into the planet.
Yeah. That's why, I probably didn't animate it, but I boarded it and designed it, and then somebody else there animated it.
That's so cool.
I don't remember sitting.
There's a line in that episode that is very kind of rare. When Cassandra says, when Van Driesen asks her what it was like to see her come to life.
Oh my God.
So enormous, so powerful, so brief. Usually it cuts off right there. But there's a version where she says, just like my father. You got a story on that one by chance?
That's it. It's its own story.
It's just.
I don't remember them. I don't know the versions where it cuts off.
Oh yeah, that is the more prominent version where it cuts off. I don't think it's on any home video release in its full form.
That's probably when they decided to cut it off.
Well, that was a dark joke for Beavis and Butt-Head.
It was a very dark joke, but no one responded to it. It was just Van Driesen was like, okay. Yeah. But
it just passes by. It
passed by standards and practices too. No one ever said anything about it.
Yeah, isn't that unbelievable? That's funny. Wow, that's a cool. I never thought I'd get to ask any of you about that one.
I mean, Chris might have a different, maybe.
I didn't even think to bring it up with him.
Yeah, because like I said, once it was done, I never I never got a note to cut it out, So I don't remember.
Do you prefer it? Do you prefer that joke cut, or do you think that one should have been left alone? I kind of like that it's censored just because it makes you notice it more.
Well, if you didn't know it, you wouldn't notice it. But I guess I would. I think it was a little too far. I think it works too far.
Yeah.
It works without it.
Yeah, it definitely did. Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's see. Oh, do you want to sign my trading card?
Oh my God! I would love to. Yeah. I would so love to, especially since you picked the moment that began it all, and here it's in the little case, and I haven't taken it out of the case yet. So this is the first time. I really am so worried that I'm going to do something.
Don't worry. I mean, Chris butchered the first one, so no.
His eyes, those crazed eyes, and then he butchered it. What, did he have one with Kyle, with Killer, with the three of them?
I had his. No.
Is it the same?
Mauricio had a pin made of that, and
right. So which one does Chris paint on the same? Does Chris sign the same one?
No, he signed Ball Breakers.
Oh, Ball Breakers, of course. Of course. I still associate him with this because he's the voice of
Tyler. Yeah, I know.
And he wrote it too.
No, I had to go for Ball Breakers just because it's kind of I think that was my favorite card actually, even as a
Oh my God. I'm so honored. I really am honored, and I'm afraid I'm so afraid to mess it up. It's so perfect like
the
this.
Fact that you're
Do you want to see me do it on screen, or can I do it where I'm comfortable?
You just
I
didn't see him do it. I'd say it's all.
No, I can't do it.
That's okay. Don't worry about it, hon.
Okay.
The memory.
Okay. Oh my God. Usually I just write Yvette, but do you want Yvette Kaplan?
However you do it normally, honestly, is fine. That's.
Usually I just, I guess if it's I guess I'll write my full name.
Trust me, I'll never sell it. It's mine. Those cards are what got me collecting the show as a kid. So to have you sign one is pretty dang full circle of a feeling. It's amazing.
Okay, it's pretty wussy because I'm not okay? To Sean.
What's it say?
To Sean with love.
You're the best. No, you're the best. Yeah, I can't even. It's amazing. And everyone's just going to freaking love this interview. You gave me so much. It's incredible. And if you ever do really want to do a part two, I'm more than down. I would love to talk to you and Chris together. And
that would be heaven.
Yeah. Well, then that's what we're gonna do. I'm sure I've brought it up to him, and he was into the idea. So that'll be the part two. I would love to just.
You could do that, right? You could have us both on, even if it's. I mean, I'd love for us to be in a room together, but if that doesn't happen,
I'd love to meet you guys.
But I will go through my boxes and find more things. And if there's anything, I have everything. So if there's something, maybe I don't have everything, but I have almost everything. So if there's something that you would be interested in seeing, let me know, and I'll find.
Anyone watching, say in the comments. Wow, I can't believe I just. YouTube thing.
Yeah.
What I'll do for that one, because I probably don't want to have 3 TVs. I'll probably just upload that as is and not edit it into the TVs, but it don't matter. It'll just be so awesome to see you guys, talking together about it and to talk to you both at once. Because like I said, you guys have just been, I don't think any fan has ever got treated better than you both have to me. I mean, you're just amazing.
Oh.
It's incredible. I mean,
yeah, well, you're more a scholar than a fan. I mean, you're a fan, but you speak. It's like we're speaking the same language. It's not like the things you ask about and the things you see. It's that. So it's just what we wanted. It's just what we'd hoped. You know.
Oh wow, that's amazing. You're the best. When people ask me what the favorite thing in my collection is now, it's the interview with you and Chris, you know. Oh, it really is. And the friendship that I've made with you guys. So it's just, thank you so much, Yvette.
Thank you, Sean.
And I love
pleasure.
you. Thank you.
I love you. My pleasure. Go have a beautiful day.
Thank you. You too, hon. All right.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Okay. Well, we'll cut it there, but I really will say goodbye because I got to go get on some stuff. Thank you so much. You are the best. I love you so much. I can't even express it. I'm going to go have a cigarette and cry.
Don't cry. I'll send this back to you, okay?
Thank you. And I will send you that CD.
Beautiful.
Absolutely.
You really don't have to, but
no, that'd be cool to know that you had something from me.
Even just you can just tape it for me, you know, just so I have that song.
Yeah, but maybe you'll put that on your shelf or something. I don't know.
I will. You bet I will.
I'll take that.
Okay.
I love you, hon. Thank you so much.
I love you.
Bye. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.